ended. And I can go ahead and do my job. Let's move into the Korean Dota 2 Tier 1 match, the header match of the day. Match 3, Set 1. This is a best of 3 between Zephyr Dota and MVP Phoenix, a Tier 1 match. And as far as the bans are concerned, MVP Phoenix banning out 2 of Zephyr's commonly played heroes, the Sand King and Nyx Assassin. And Zephyr getting rid of the Wisp. MVP did use the Wisp to great effect with the Tiny in their match against 5&Q last Wednesday. So I wouldn't be surprised if Zephyr just wanted to go ahead and block that off the bat. But an IO ban, certainly unconventional and almost never first pick / ban. But following it up with a Slark removal. Ho-ho! MVP Phoenix! First pick, Ember Spirit. But that gives Team Zephyr 2 heroes they're quite comfortable with. The Lifestealer and a Nature's Prophet. So we're going to see some Lifestealer teleporting around the map. Interestingly enough, no Timbersaw pick or ban as of yet, but boy, am I happy to see that Ember Spirit. If he gets the farm, he's a force to be reckoned with, but you kind of have to do a little bit of snowballing with that Ember Spirit, or he just can't dish out the DPS and won't have the survivability to be as effective in team fights. Or who knows, maybe it'll be a support Ember Spirit. And here is Heen from MVP. Very nice person, speaks some English. Of course, here is Corey, the hard carry of Zephyr, putting the team on his back. But he is a very, very good player. Whenever he plays, he gets the farm. If he doesn't get it early game, he'll somehow make up for it later on. Second pick for MVP Phoenix will be the Visage. And the next set of bans, Crystal Maiden and Invoker on Zephyr's end, Storm Spirit and Puck for MVP. So MVP, they're just doing a lot of bans on heroes that Zephyr do love to play a lot. And the line pickup for Zephyr, I'm just really surprised to see Timbersaw slip through the cracks and not get grabbed by either team. There's Ryzen, Lee Jung-young, one of the support players for MVP. There's your drafter from Zephyr, Sexy Bamboo. I wish I knew what he was saying right now. Most likely something silly and clever and trolly, as per his personality. You know, Ember Spirit is a very mobile hero. Nature's Prophet's going to be pretty decent against that. He can teleport around. That's if the Ember Spirit doesn't kill him first. Here's Eosin, another support player from Zephyr. Hope he's not too tired. MVP Phoenix really thinking hard about their picks. The problem with picking up the Ember Spirit first, though, is it kind of telegraphs what MVP Phoenix plans on doing as far as their laning situation goes. Probably will see this as a safe lane Ember Spirit. They're most likely going to need to tri-lane him. Ooh, and the Alchemist is the next pickup. So we could see him as support. MVP do like playing him in that position. And the Timbersaw for Team Zephyr. We could see a mid Timbersaw from Blitz, and I'm really surprised it took this long to get him in the draft, but the Timbersaw does get picked up. There's Dubu, support from MVP. He'll probably be on that Alchemist unless we see it around mid. Most likely won't see it in the carry position though. And the Magus is the next picks up for MVP. So that's probably going to be in the mid lane, and we'll see that Alchemist in the support role with the Visage, helping out that Ember Spirit, which I do imagine is going to be in the safe lane, leaving MVP Phoenix with an offlaner as the last pick. I guess they could put, let's see, as far as other laning situations, Magus could end up in the offlane. There is Purge, the support player from Zephyr. And a March, the carrier. Not the StarCraft 2 carrier, just the carry for MVP. Sorry, Magnus, not Magus. I'm reading the Korean names as well, messing with my head a little bit, just a little bit though. But Magnus, no. Team Zephyr, they're looking a little bit tired, just from what I've seen on their end. There's Forev from MVP. And Bad Rider as the last pickup for MVP. So this is, and Tidehunter for Zephyr. So we have some really interesting lineups on both ends. I'm excited to see where this match is going to take us. And it looks like both teams, they're ready, they're good to go. The heroes are picked and banned. This is the Korean Dota 2 League. We're live from the Nexon Arena in Seoul, Korea. Some good old new-fashioned Dota 2 action. I'm Whiplash. I'm providing the on-site commentary. Let's go ahead and move into the game. As we have MVP spawning on the Radiant side versus Team Zephyr. This is a Tier 1 match in the Korean Dota 2 League, a best of 3. Okay, so March, he's moving into the off lane. It looks like MVP, they're not afraid to be a lot more versatile with their laning situations. So March did play on the Tiny against 5 and Q last time.
전투가 시작됩니다.
And just clearing out those trees, making his laning situation a little bit easier, harder to get him ganked. Eosin on the Lion, Sexy Bambo as your offlaner, Nature's Prophet. Timbersaw in the mid, he'll be handled by Blitz. And then Purge on the Tidehunter, and finally, we'll have Corey on the Lifestealer. Forev playing that position 1 Ember Spirit. Ryzen as the Visage. And probably Dubu's going to be on the Alchemist. And Heen handling the mid lane as the Magnus. So we have a Purge Tidehunter. Tri-lane versus tri-lane scenario. Ryzen picking up the double damage rune in the bottom part of the river. If they can get a stun on Sexy Bambo, that's going to be one dead Sexy man. And if you can get a stun off on the Nature's Prophet, the Ember Spirit can be really good at picking him off. His ultimate does destroy trees, so you can just kind of flame in there, lasso him up, and do the damage you need to finish him off. Purge doing a little bit of rotating with the Timbersaw. Are they both going to go to the bottom lane? That would be interesting. I guess not. Just making sure that MVP doesn't have any wards near their ramp in the mid lane. Okay, well, as far as Blitz is concerned, I'm sure he will be quite happy with this lane. Melee mid versus melee mid, and it's a strength mid. On top of that, kind of hard for Timbersaw to lose that lane. He can at least do a little bit of bottle crowing and spam that shockwave. Kind of keep Blitz honest, but the lane will end up going most likely the Blitz. Regeneration rune snagged by Sexy Bambo, but this could... Nah, he's fine. No big plays. He's doing surprisingly good in the lane, though. I guess this is a pretty tanky hero. But as the levels increase, Timbersaw gets a point in reactive armor, maybe even two if he wants to just be ultra aggressive. It's not going to go too well for Heen. Nice dodge. As far as the carries on both teams are concerned, I'll hold that thought though. Eosin, he's going to go ahead, gets the stun off, but March, he's going to play cheap and just fly away. For the time being, actually, he's getting a little bit aggressive, but not overextending. Handled that very nice, actually. But as I was saying, both carries on either end are just going to get essentially free farm, which is what you really need for the Ember Spirit if you want to make him useful. I believe level-wise, Purge is still at 1, if I'm not mistaken. MVP just doing a little bit of creep pulling. And a Bambo trolling a bit with his teleport ability. You can channel it, but it won't use up the cooldown. And you can just stop it at the last second, and he won't teleport anywhere, but the trees will pop up, showing where he's about to teleport into. Magnus really staying toe-to-toe with a Blitz on the Timbersaw. And Heen picking up the regeneration, the haste rune. Well, let's see if he wants to get aggressive against Blitz in the mid lane. I don't believe he's picked up a point in Timber Chain, as it is a mid versus mid battle. And generally Timbersaws will pick up points in their Whirling Death and forgo that early Timber Chain. But a relatively lax game so far. And you have your offlaners doing what they can to survive, being a little bit of an annoyance. I actually like this March. He's looking for a little bit of farm, and he's going to get it. And Zephyr, they do have one ranged hero, but Purge being the Tide Hunter may make it a little bit harder for them to actually secure a kill as far as the early game's concerned. But they still give Corey that free farm that he wants. Ooh. All right, Heen. He's used up the haste rune, bottled up a little bit to give him extra mana. And Blitz, he's playing it safe, just going to back up to his main base. Corey already grabbing the Hand of Midas. Just shy under 5.5 minutes into the game. Ember Spirit keeping up in farm as well. Actually, 2 kills ahead, 3 kills of the Nyx, but that Hand of Midas will give him a nice farming advantage as the game progresses onward. Very, very lax game. Not too much really happening, unfortunately. Reason does get the invisibility rune, but I mean, the Treant did spot him. They kind of know. Heen's actually, he's kind of dominating this lane over Timbersaw. Forced him out of the lane for a little bit. Has a creep kill advantage as well. So, you know, not too bad overall for MVP. I'd say the tri-lanes are essentially even, though. No kills on either end. I'd say March, he's gotten a little bit more farm than the Nature's Prophet. Oh, Bambo in a little bit of trouble. Does teleport home in time. But that's the thing, as Ember Spirit, you do need some type of stun if you want to kill off the Nature's Prophet solo, because he'll just teleport away when you move in on him. Sexy Bambo returning to his position in the bottom lane. And Forev, he already has a Perseverance. Building into that Battle Fury, no doubt. And it's weird. Normally, I see Corey topping the last hit charts, but Ember Spirit has managed to stay a creep or two ahead throughout the match. Zephyr just a little bit of creep pulling, giving Corey that space to make his farm happen.
레디언트의 중부 포탑이 공격받고 있습니다.
Also, something to note, March has picked up a bottle on the Batrider, and he's rotated towards the jungle. They are doing a good amount of creep stacking. So you know what, this is actually, there are going to be a lot of creeps here saved up for MVP. Now, they could either give it to the Batrider, and he can work on getting that gem a lot faster, or they could just give it to Ember Spirit and let him holla holla get Dala. Cool, so Blitz has managed to grab his Mana Boots. Ember Spirit picking up Mana Boots as well. Won't be going for the phase. This will give him a good amount of staying power in the lane, however. Sexy Bambo's decided to rotate towards the jungle. He can't really accomplish too much in the bottom lane, unfortunately. But Heen's had a great time in the mid lane. A little bit of a disappointment almost from Blitz, I feel. Alright, so the debut and Reason, they're smoked up. But Nature's Prophet nowhere to be found in the bottom lane. So the smoke gank isn't going to accomplish anything, unfortunately, for MVP Phoenix. Right, Sexy Bambo manages to pick up his phase boots. Now Mana Boots for the Magnus as well. March, he's got about 1,500 gold saved. I believe he did clear out those creeps earlier on the multiple stacked groups. Okay, Sexy Bambo moving towards the bottom lane. Lion not too far behind him. March is low on health, but he should be able to kill those creeps off just fine. And that Blink Dagger right around the corner needs only about 1,500 more gold. A little bit of a mistake, though. He didn't kill off that Kobold. So that creep camp will not respawn. It'll just be that lone guy chilling there. And he's got the regeneration rune. We'll just spam those shockwaves all day. Make Blitz's life really annoying. There we go. I see 74 last hits for Corey, compared to the paltry 74 of Ember Spirit. So they're still neck and neck. And there's the Blink Dagger for the Batrider. Hopefully that means that we're going to see a little bit of aggression from MVP. As they have the initiation, and Ember Spirit follow-up as well can be very effective following the Batrider. But there is a good amount of team fights on both ends. We do have that Ravage with the Nature's Prophet ultimate. Warlock and Timbersaw can just, you know, dish out the DPS single target. Well, I guess more AoE target for the Timbersaw. Okay, March, he is revealed. And with Blitz nearby, I can't see the gank really working. March deciding to, okay, let me make the most of the situation, get a little bit of farm in, invading the enemy jungle. And Magnus has also managed to acquire a Blink Dagger. So the raw initiation power from MVP Phoenix. This is going to be a big thorn in Zephyr's side. Now, this is pretty much the best case scenario for the Ember Spirit. Completely unpunished. I believe he will have his Battle Fury very soon. And that little Korean chart over there, gold graph over the past 10 minutes. MVP Phoenix slightly ahead. I guess just gold overall. These graphs, they like to change on me so much. And I believe that is experience with MVP certainly leading. Okay, March and Forev, they're pushing the mid tower, or the bottom tower, excuse me. That's going to fall, no contestation there. Zephyr are hoping to maybe get a trade in the top lane. But they're not going to get that. But holy crap, what a passive game. 1 tower, 0 kills on either end, 13 minutes into the game. Well, this could change to Boo. He's low on health, out of mana. He's charging his concoction, but Corey gets the first blood. Actually, no purge. He manages to steal it. Heen comes in, though. In comes the Batrider as well. And the Tidehunter ultimate. They're going to work on Heen, forcing him away. Corey, he manages to stay alive. He's working on Reason, gets the kill. And forcing a rage. Can he TP out in time? No, he can't. MVP gets the kill. Corey, I liked what he was doing. He did manage to get a pick off. But when all is said and done, it's 2-2. With Phoenix, they did give up the first blood. It was to the Tidehunter. If Corey got the first blood, I would say that'd be a pretty decent trade for both ends, but or I guess a decent trade for Zephyr, but still relatively even when all said and done. And that is a 14-minute Battle Fury for the uninterrupted farming Ember Spirit. And now we're going to see what other items he wants to build into, but with the Empower from the Magnus, combine that with the Ember Spirit, that's just going to be a really, really deadly combination. Oh, Heen skewering over the high ground. Blitz will walk away without too much damage. Here's an Impurge rotating towards the mid lane. Corey not far behind. Forev still continuing the farm. And Bambo's managed to grab his Hand of Midas so he can start the catch-up and farm. I think Forev actually wanted to stack that creep camp potentially, but he forgot about that too late. And there is a ward over there from Team Zephyr. Okay, so we do have a pause once again from, I guess, the first pause for Team Zephyr, second overall as far as the matches are concerned today, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were still some mic issues from Zephyr's end. Okay, never mind. Back to business as usual. I know it's too bad the Lion and Magnus aren't on the same team. Imagine that Agnum's Lion ultimate making the Finger of Death AoE, and Magnus just kind of clumping everybody together. I suppose it could also work if timed correctly with the Darkseer. Well, the Claws of Attack picked up from the Ember Spirit. Wouldn't be surprised if that was an early Chrysalis and eventual Daedalus. Once you have that DPS, using Sleight of Fist over and over, it's just very hard to deal with. And Forev's got to be so happy with this essentially uninterrupted farm. Overall, a very passive game. Not too much action beyond the 4 overall kills. Let's see, I mean, 16 minutes, 42 seconds into the match with only 2 kills and I believe a tower taken on both ends. This is about as passive as it gets. Corey picks up his armlet. Oh, in comes the finger as well as... Oh, he's not... I don't think he's going to be able to escape. Forev, can he escape? Bambo comes in. One more hit. He gets it. The deny does not happen. Excellent reflexes from Sexy Bambo. And Corey is getting oiled up a little bit by the Bat Rider in the top lane, but he's safe for now. That gank was sorely needed for Zephyr. They needed to stop the Ember Spirit before he gets too big. But I do like the line just fingering of death off the bat. Doesn't want to give Ember Spirit any time to get away. As far as experience over the past 10 minutes goes, MVP is still slightly ahead. Not a huge difference, but they do have somewhat of an advantage. And there's the Chrysalis pickup for the Ember Spirit. Sexy Bambo as well as March, both picking up 4 staffs respectively. And MVP centered in the mid lane. It looks like they do want to get the tier 1 tower. It's low on health. March flying around. Also something to note. Oh, hold on that thought. Purge, he gets lassoed as well. Nice ultimate from Heen. But before Purge dies, he does get his ultimate off. Lion being picked off as well. That's a 2-0, but the Alchemist falls. 2-for-1 trade. Sexy Bambo forced away. He is extremely low on health, but March manages to fly in and secure the kill. MVP Phoenix getting an excellent trade. And Blitz, he's low on health. Actually, there's a blink forward, but deciding to center the camera on Corey. Blitz, will he end up falling? He manages to barely escape alive. Corey may not be so lucky, though. Heen is in pursuit. Corey's going to hug that tier 2 tower. He'll be just fine. But wow. MVP Phoenix. Initiation like no other. Even that Tidehunter ultimate doesn't seem to be nearly as effective against MVP. Still, though, a relatively even match. Can go either way. I would say MVP have a better team fight composition, especially after how that last match or engagement went. And yeah, look at Ember Spirit up to 174 last hits. Ridiculous amount of farm. I don't even think the Midas is going to help Corey catch up from that. Every time a Sleight of Fist is used, I just hear the Korean commentators they're like, ooh, wow. They get really excited over it for some reason. But I suppose this is Ember Spirit farming 101. And Ember Spirit does manage to purchase his Demon Edge. So that very dangerous Daedalus not too far away. it's just going to make these team fights really hard for Zephyr. Even tanky heroes, once you have that Daedalus on the Ember Spirit, that Sleight of Fist just dishes out the DPS pretty crazily. Sexy Bambo pushing the bottom lane ever so slightly. And Corey, he already has the drums, armlet, and working into the Sangjin Yasha. I'm assuming he'll try to grab a basher afterwards. Once again, it's the Korean commentators. They certainly love Sleight of Fist. But we're really starting to see the experience in gold start to favor MVP Phoenix over Zephyr. It's 55 to 45%. And Bat Rider picking up some boots of travel. Over the past 10 minutes, the experience still relatively even. Do have a little bit of smoke action in the bottom. I'd also like to point out that we don't have the Ember Spirit. Oh, in comes the lasso on Eos, and he gets killed very fast. Forev doing a little dance as he teleports home to pick up the Daedalus. Man, this Ember Spirit, I'm actually quite worried for Team Zephyr. They've done nothing to stop the Ember Spirit, who's topping Corey's Midas Lifestealer as far as farm is concerned. And he's had free reign. I mean, he did die once, but besides that, Forev has been almost uninterrupted in his ricing game. Farm after farm after farm. A Blitz. He did build the plate mail, so most likely we'll be getting a Shiva's. Uh-oh, Sexy Bambo, yeah. That is just very unfortunate. He can't tree himself and escape either. Forev, with the Daedalus, with the amount of farm he's got, he's light years ahead of the opposition.
레디언트의 중부 포탑이 디나이되었습니다.
But yeah, MVP really showing Zephyr some decent competition, but Reason caught out of position and making me eat my words. But still, anyone's game. It's going to come down to the team fights. MVP has a lot of pick-off power. They're in pursuit. Look at that, Corey losing like almost a quarter of his health, and the lasso is good. Out comes the Tidehunter ultimate. But we're going to see a reverse polarity, and it's good. Down goes Blitz. Corey forced to retreat. And, man, Purge low on health. Forev low on mana, but looks like he wants the chase Bambo. Oh, is the TP going to be good? Ah, it is, and down goes most of Team Zephyr. A March, though. Look at that. Oh! Nice plays by Blitz. Timber Chains in for the kill. But still not the most amazing trade. MVP Phoenix now leading 11-7 over Zephyr. And Forev is just going to get scarier and scarier. I think if Corey, if he can manage to get the Abyssal Blade and the good initiation on Forev, we could see a team fight winning for Zephyr, but even in that rage, the Lifestealer can still get lassoed from the Bat Rider. And a Demonless MVP seems to be a very powerful MVP, regardless of the strength of foreigners coming in to help out their team. Uh-oh, Bambo, Force Staff, he's trying to get away, and indeed he does. Nice jukes. The Force Staff definitely doing its work. Forev still continuing the farm away. Almost hitting 3K gold. Corey is not far behind in farm, though. Only about 1,000 gold trailing. And Magnus and Timbersaw pretty much neck to neck. Bambo has just not gotten too much this game. March managing to find a good amount more farm than the Prophet. Oh, and a Perseverance getting grabbed, which most likely means this is going to be a second Battle Fury on the Ember Spirit. And yes, they do stack. The DPS is just going to get out of control. And Bat Rider, he has his Force Staff. He has his Blink Dagger, a double damage rune bottled up. He is ready to go on people. Oh, sexy Bambo is going to have to kind of run away. Heen giving chase. Uh-oh, March is nearby. Purge. He's going to be okay. No initiation from MVP. Oh! Very nice ultimate from the Nature's Prophet. Manages to pick off Visage just in time. As far as the past 10 minutes, the gold graph has been a lot more even. Forev definitely getting out of there. And the Basher has been purchased by Corey. Skull Basher. And look at that DPS. Ember Spirit, for those of you who aren't aware, he was recently added into Captain's Mode barely a week ago. Not even. Yeah, Empower plus 2 Battle Furies and a Daedalus. GG team fights. That's all I gotta say. But I'm really liking this Magnus Ember Spirit combination. Very smart. It's excellent synergy. Okay, in comes the lasso. They're managing to get Corey. He's low on health. Forced to do a infest to get a little bit of health. No deaths for Zephyr. MVP Phoenix. They have used up the lasso. And those creep caps, those creep waves just, they drop like flies. Talk about anti-push. And Bambo's picked up the Necro Minion. I think Zephyr realized that team fights are most likely not going to go their way. So they have to see how split pushing can do. But I mean, I don't see it working. Blitz lost half of his health from one sleight of fist attack from the Ember Spirit. And this is just, it's a scary sight to behold. The second Battle Fury has been completed. And really, I'm unsure what Zephyr can do against MVP. Save Corey initiating nicely with an Abyssal Blade stun. But even that, it's not something it's not an easy task to accomplish. There's so much initiation and counter initiation from MVP, utilizing the Magnus, utilizing the Bat Rider. I'm not sure if Zephyr can pull it off. This is a best of 3. So regardless of how game 1 goes, there will be a second match. But overall, this is a very farm-centric game. And 30 minutes into the game, 11-8 with MVP leading. It's about as passive as it gets. Which is unfortunate because Ember Spirit's such a fun hero to see in these team fights. Just, you know, slashing around everybody, moving in with this ultimate. And Shiva's Guard is completed for Blitz. Uh-oh, March gets the lasso on Blitz. There's going to be a stun follow-up, but let's not forget how tanky Blitz is. But is it enough? Not really. Heen, he has the BKB, uses his ultimate. Doesn't look like it accomplishes too much. There's the Tidehunter Ravage. And down goes 2 heroes for MVP Phoenix. Ember Spirit falls as well. Corey now going to town on Taboo. You may not be long for this world. Nice blink stun from Eosin. And down go almost the entirety of MVP's roster. We still have a game on our hands. But that's still 3 deaths from Team Zephyr, so 3-4-4 trade. But Zephyr showing that, hey, despite the farm of the Ember Spirit, this is still a game. We're not out of it just yet. March teleporting away. Will pick up his Black King bar. Now the question is, okay, Boots of Travel picked up for the Ember Spirit as well. The question is, what will his next item be? I think a Black King bar may be a good idea. And there's the experience graft. MVP are still pretty far ahead. Corey, though, look at that. The Lifestealer, Midas carry, finding a good amount of farm. He is slightly ahead of the Ember Spirit. I don't even want to imagine Ember Spirit with that double damage rune and the Empower from the Magnus. That's just a no fun allowed combination. Lasso's available. Uh-oh, Blitz. He's going to get lassoed once again. And in comes Forev. A little bit too far, and the rest of MVP. Easy pickings. There is just nowhere safe for Team Zephyr. And when it comes to the team fights, they're not entirely safe either. Some really good team fights. That's going to be what Zephyr will have to do if they want to win this game. I feel like Phoenix, they have a lot of outs available to them. And Ember Spirit can just DPS his way to victory, and any standoffish team fights are on the defense. Just Sleight of Fist on level 4, 8-second cooldown. Zephyr. The fortification's available. Will we see a response from MVP? In comes Ember Spirit. Corey. He's going to get slashed a few times. Backs away. But he does get the tower. And MVP, let's see if they can go ahead and get a trade. No, away blinks a lot of MVP. Ember Spirit, though, he's already with his team in the Dire jungle. Oh, in comes Eosin. Nice juking, though. Does manage to survive. Man, talk about one mistake pretty much meaning the end of a team fight on both ends, I want to say. Uh-oh, this is very bad for Forev. Down he goes. The disadvantage of the Ember Spirit. He's not incredibly tanky. So good job to Corey and Eosin getting the kill on the Ember Spirit. I would say this gives them, they potentially could go for the Roshan. This would be a good opportunity for them to pick off the big guy. And indeed they will. But the bottom lane pushed in, and MVP, they don't have Ember Spirit. They can't punish this, I don't think. They can be annoying. They can certainly be annoying. But there still should be a Roshan kill for Team Zephyr. And March actually has got to be careful. He still has the blink and the Force Staff, but he is kind of stuck on the high ground. Oh, Ember Spirit buyback. Instantly Zephyr decides to back away. But they're going to go on Debut. Oh, man. Oh, brutal. Down goes one hero. 3 buybacks instantaneously from Zephyr. They know they need to contest the Roshan kill, but I don't even think they'll be able to do it in time. They're still going to go for it. In comes Blitz with the Chakram and a follow-up. Down goes Ember Spirit. Gets to the Aegis instantly killed. And Purge, man, he's almost dead. Forev should be able to pick him off. Down he goes. Timbersaw could be next. Heen is low on health. He gets killed. A 2-for-2 situation, 3-for-2. MVP. They did use up the Aegis, but the team fight does look to be going their way. And Corey has the double damage as well. But they're still going to back off. I would like to see Forev with some type of survivability item helping him out. He has the DPS. Uh-oh, Bambo in a bit of trouble. And he force taps away, gets the trees, and is going to TP following that up. But Forev saving his ultimate for when the time comes, and he secures the kill. As we move almost 37 minutes into the match, MVP leads 22 kills to 16. Team Zephyr having a very hard time when it comes to team fights. MVP with a ridiculous amount of initiation and DPS provided from the Ember Spirit. I do love his little dance he does whenever he uses a town portal scroll. Gold though relatively even on both ends. And Corey, he does have his Abyssal Blade. And most likely will be building into either a Mjolnir or he could get an Assault Cuirass to kind of 6-slot himself the victory. And yes, that is going to be a 3rd Battle Fury for the Ember Spirit. It could be a Lincoln Sphere, but nope. It's another Battle Fury. There is still the Magic Wand stick slot available to replace later on for Forev. But who knows? Maybe it'll be a 4th Battle Fury for all I know. Potential smoke gank from MVP. Zephyr though, their hit squad is in the bottom lane. Oh, this is not looking good for Zephyr. If they get caught out of position, that's most likely going to be a Rax. Zephyr even placing an invisibility ward in between the towers. And most likely that tower is going to fall. I would imagine it will. A very uneventful tower death. Zephyr just kind of lets it go while they continue to push the bottom lane and look for pickoffs. I think, okay, what Zephyr are doing, they're just waiting for somebody to try to move in. Wow. Wow. WTF. That Ember Spirit, so scary. Clearing out creep waves like it's no one's business. It just almost eliminates Zephyr's pushing power. Bambo, he's doing his best to be bait, but will Forev fall for it? He has died a few times to the Lifestealer bomb combination. It's just a question of will it happen? Ooh, big pickup for MVP as the Magnus gets a refresher orb. That's going to be 2 ultimates wherever he needs them. Oh, March. He's behind Sexy Bambo, but this could turn into a very bad team fight for Zephyr as Heen comes in with the ultimate. Double reverse polarity. Corey is getting hacked apart. Do they have the DPS to finish him off? In comes Ember Spirit. And that's going to be a dead Corey, and I think this is going to be the first televised match where Corey actually loses on the Lifestealer. Turns out Ember Spirit's a harder carry if you give him the proper farm. It's up to Rat Dota for Team Zephyr if they want to make a win. MVP, they're knocking on Zephyr's front door. In the mid lane, hacking away at the tower. Just ridiculous DPS from Forev. Ridiculous. Forcing the fortification, but Corey's down. Eosin has managed to come back into the fight, but I think the Rax are going to fall. And from the look of things, Zephyr, their win streak may end here. At least as far as consecutive games won go. It is a best of 3. They still have a chance to come back over the next 2 games, but the Ember Spirit, Zephyr, they just gave him too much farm. He's 9-3, 7 assists, 390 last hits. Confirming the kill on the ranged barracks. Uh-oh, Sexy Bamboo. I don't think he's going to survive. In comes the Bing, doing a little bit of slowing, and the air vision provided by March. It's enough. Down goes Sexy Bamboo. Ember Spirit already up to level 25 with so much damage. That's like over 450 damage per normal attack hit from Ember Spirit when he has Empower on him. No amount of tankiness is really going to allow Zephyr to survive. A Linkosphere pickup for the Bat Rider. So he is Initiation Incarnate. And experience really starting to favor MVP, as they're 54% over the 46 from Zephyr. But really, it's not looking good for the boys in blue, the foreigners from the West. When it comes to you know, a final fight at one of these barracks, they couldn't do the last one because Korea was out of the picture. But if MVP decide to push, Zephyr, I mean, they're going to have to do everything perfectly to even have a chance, I feel. Getting rid of that Ember Spirit, that's the key. If they can somehow make that happen, maybe Tidehunter blink in with Corey infested inside of him, Abyssal Blade stun follow-up. It could happen. And the support Alchemist grabbing a Haven's Hellbrid. That's going to be very effective against Corey, disarming him for a couple of seconds. Okay, and that's a 6-slotted Ember Spirit, 43 minutes into the game. And he has a Battle Fury, or not a Battle Fury, well, he has 3 of those, but the Black King Bar is the final item choice for your residential hard carry. Sexy Bamboo, players teleporting in on him, and he's running away. MVP almost taunting him. Down he will fall. There's the mobility from MVP. It's too much for Zephyr to handle, I feel. Bamboo, he can't do his normal escape abilities. There's just too much on MVP's end to make something happen. Roshan's just around the corner. Actually, he has respawned. And that should be an easy pick-off for MVP once they get into position. Using the Aegis, they can do a follow-up. Oh, Yosun, though, is moving forward with the Lifestealer inside. Forev knows better, and he will back off. Magnus is looking pretty darn farmed as well. He's got all the necessary items he needs to be essential in this game, to be useful. And Roshan, not long for this world. MVP already going to work on him. They are missing Ember Spirit. What item will Ember Spirit drop for the Aegis? That's the real question. If he actually does. Okay, it looks like Keen's going to pick up the Aegis. But Refresher Orb, Aegis, Blink, Black King Bar, MVP, they're all about that survivability on all of their heroes. But when it comes to Forev, it's all about that DPS. So this is the pivotal moment it's come down to. It's do or die for Zephyr. If they can't defend here, they've already lost this game. Oh. And the lasso hits Corey. In comes reverse polarity from the Magus. Second one following as well. Tidehunter ultimate from Purge. And he's managing to stay alive for just a little bit longer, but down he will go. Corey already buying back after getting destroyed. Blitz is low on health as well. Can he manage to make anything happen? No. Down he goes with another buyback. Zephyr just buybacks across the board. Is it enough though? to finish off MVP Phoenix. All of the heroes are still alive, low on health. Down goes the Magnus, popping the Aegis. Blitz being pursued. I think he is going to end up dying. And down he goes. The Purge, the follows shortly. And yeah, Forev, the Ember Spirit pick, despite being first. Zephyr, they didn't properly deal with it, and this game's pretty much over, ladies and gentlemen. MVP Phoenix breaking Zephyr's win streak with a very impressive strategy. Corey getting lassoed, unable to accomplish anything. The GG is called. MVP Phoenix really showing it to Team Zephyr and showing the viableness, the viability from the Ember Spirit. A well-played and well-deserved victory from MVP. I'm sure Zephyr aren't going to be feeling too happy after that loss. Now Blitz looking very unhappy, so MVP Phoenix, they win game 1 in the best of 3. This is the Korean Dota 2 League. We have to go into a quick commercial break, but when we get back, set 2 between MVP Phoenix and Zephyr.